record to this computer. Recording in progress. Hit that little button that says recording so that you don't get thrown off this call. All right, so grab your playbook and go to page 40. I'm going to do mine, and I'm going to try to keep my book from falling apart. We should have Aaron Coddington come up here and show everybody his book. He's got like a book that looks like it just came off the printing press. How long have you had that book, Aaron? A year? Well, dude, mess that thing up.
No, I have like OCD. Like it won't work.
Oh.
Like yours, I would go crazy.
This?
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do.
Does that give you, does it make you nervous just looking at it? Look, it's falling apart.
I would buy it. I would buy it.
All right, page 40. There are three core issues that support the foundational model of the millionaire real estate agent. Three. You can have a doctorate in real estate, outfox a professional litigator in a contract negotiation, appraise property better than anyone in your market, and have more financing knowledge packed in your head than a mortgage guru, and it won't do you a lick of good. It won't do you a lick of good without clients. To succeed in real estate, you must have client leads. You know, it's interesting, you go to real estate school and you study and you pass that state exam and nobody told you this. Nobody told you that the most important thing you were going to do in order to succeed in real estate was lead generate. Nobody told you that unless you learn how to lead generate, you're going to fail. And it's like the most important thing you can do. It's not like it is. So Gary goes on to say, to succeed in real estate, you must, he didn't say you might want to, he didn't say I suggest, he said you must have client leads. It's that simple. Success is simple. Lead generate 8 hours a day, and you will have more business than you know what to do with. And I know the very first thought somebody has when I say that is, well, John, if I lead generate 8 hours a day, how am I going to go? When am I going to go on any appointments? Okay, so I'm going to give you an out. If you have a listing appointment, you only have to lead generate 6 hours a day and spend the other 2 hours to go on that listing appointment. How's that? Now, if you don't have a listing appointment, what else are you going to do? Lead generate. That's it. All right. Until you have enough leads to meet or exceed your goal, there is no other issue. He didn't say until you have enough leads to meet or exceed your goals, there's like 3 or 4 other things you probably should focus on. No, he said there's no other issue. My number one job every day is lead generation. And until I want you to write this down on a sheet of paper, and I want you to make this as big as possible. If you have a home office and you want to paint this on the wall very big, or grab a Sharpie and just start writing on your wall. Not in my office, don't do that. All right. My number one job every day is lead generation. My number one job every day is lead generation. And until I have hit my daily lead generation standards, everything else is a distraction. Everything else is a distraction. You want to be a little bit more bold? Everyone else is a distraction. My number one job every day is lead generation. And until I have hit my daily lead generation standards, everything else is a distraction. Everyone else is a distraction. Okay, now we're going to skip ahead in MREA. We're going to go to page 136. Now on page 136, Gary talks about the 3 key areas of your lead generation model. Here's what he has to say. There are 3 key areas in your lead generation model. First, there is the prospecting and marketing aspect. If you're taking notes, write be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Gary doesn't cover that in MREA. Actually, in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, he tells us to be marketing based and prospecting enhanced. And then when he wrote Shift in 2009, he changed his mind and said, never mind, be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. And he's never changed his story since then. It's a good thing I didn't listen because I was always prospecting based and marketing enhanced. And it worked out pretty well for me. All right, there are 3 key areas in your lead generation model. First, there is prospecting and marketing aspect where you generate leads and move them into your inner circles. Now he's talking about moving them into your database. You're going to first move a haven't met to met. You have a new met. You're going to nurture that relationship till it becomes part of your sphere of influence. You're going to nurture that relationship until they become a client and then they become a past client. So you're moving them from outside the circles into the inner circles. Second, there is the work to set up your database and feed it constantly. Feed it means add people. We're systematic in our lead generation approach, and part of our daily job, this is part of your job description, is to add 1 new person to your database every day. Build a database, feed it every day, communicate with it in a systematic lead, service all the leads that come your way. Build a database, feed it every day, communicate with it in a systematic way, service all the leads that come your way. And lastly, there is the systematic marketing to that database to generate new, repeat, and referral business. Okay, so I'm going to go to the flip chart. Let's see. Everybody on Zoom can see that? Cool. Everybody in the room can see that? Cool. That's better. Yeah, good. All right, so Ryan, if I'm one of the people in your database, on the day I close, I'm a lead, right? Yep, and on the day I close, the value of that lead is $10,000 on the day I close. Yeah, you're ahead of me. You got the next answer right. The very next day, how much is the value of that lead? 0. Now, here's what typically happens. It's about 7 to 10 years for people in the US to move. So about 7 to 10 years later, I'm going to be ready to buy again. So 7 to 10 years later, that lead is back here worth $10,000. Now, here's what typically happens. Cool. If you're paying for leads and you get a lead that comes in, or you call someone and you get a lead and they're right there. Good lead or bad lead? Well, you guys are pretty smart. You've been working with me for a while, so you know the answer. Most people would say it's a horrible lead, and they would throw it in the trash. Yeah, I know, Michelle. It's hard to believe somebody would throw it in the trash, but that's exactly what they would do. I had a team, and on my team, I would give somebody a lead that was here, and they would say things like, and I've heard you guys say this before, I talked to so-and-so, but they're really not that motivated. They're unrealistic. They're not that serious. And they're several years away from being ready to buy or sell. Not a good lead. However, Larissa, if I gave you a lead right there, what would you say? It's a great lead. Holy cow, John, I talked to the person you gave me, and they're looking to buy a house. They need to move in 30 days, or they need to be under contract within 30 days. It's a great lead. Thank you. And I would tell you the value of both of these is exactly the same. It's $10,000. The solution is follow-up. And the problem that most real estate agents have is they don't have a system to follow up with this person until they become that person. Now, you guys still see that on Zoom? Yes, cool. So about 7 to 10 weeks before someone lists their house or buys a home, they get serious. And then we close. And again, the value of that lead is $10,000. Everything to the right of this line is called transaction management. That's what we do to get them under contract. From the time they get serious about buying a home or selling a home, everything to the right of that line is called transaction management. Now, everything to the left of this line over here is lead generation. And we got this giant area in the middle. What's that called? Follow-up. Success is in the follow-up. The reason most people fail is because they don't follow up. Or they follow up for a little while until they give up and then they stop following up. Now, we have 3 different ways that we can lead generate. Prospect. I realize, guys, on Zoom, I'm looking the other way and talking. I apologize for that. Prospect. Marketing. And working our database for repeat and referral business. And what is work? Work is 20 conversations a day times 250 days a year. That's an equals, right? Equals 5,000 conversations. Now it's not 4,500, it's 5,000. It's the same thing as what is work. Work is 20 conversations, not 19, not 18, not 17. If we have 4,500 conversations because it's close enough and we don't have 500 conversations, how do you know who's going to say yes to a listing appointment? If you knew who was going to say yes, you would only call those people. But because you don't know, you've got to have the 5,000 conversations. It's a numbers game. At the top of page, hold on a moment, this is important. Page 136, there was a quote from Jim and Linda McKissick, 2 of the most successful people in our company, and here's what they say. We've learned to play the numbers game. The more we play it, the more success we have. By the way, Jimmy and Linda McKissick, are they pretty successful? Passive income last year of more than $10 million. Are they pretty successful? I think they're really successful. I might want to listen to what they say. Now, here's my focus in these 5,000 conversations. I have 2. Number 1, I've got this giant group of people out here called haven't mets. And every day when I'm having these 20 conversations a day, it's a standard, I am focused on adding at least 1 new person to my Met database. I'm also focused on adding 1 person every day to my pipeline. That's this giant space right here in the middle. That's my pipeline. I'm focused on adding 1 person every day to my pipeline. So over a 52-week period, I've added 250 potential opportunities. Now here's the key to success. Week 1, follow up. So they go from here to here. Week 1, follow up. Week 2, follow up. Week 3, week 4, follow up. Week 6, week 8, and now once every month until we get to that point where they get serious And we've created emotional proximity. And because we've created emotional proximity, they hire us. Okay, so I'm going to go back and read something to you. Back on page 40, Gary said, to succeed in real estate, you must have client leads. It's that simple. Until you have enough leads to meet or exceed your goals, there is no other issue. Now, I shared with you to write down, paint on your wall, get it tattooed on your forearm, whatever you need to do. My number one job every day is lead generation. Until I have hit my daily lead generation standards, everything else is a distraction. Then we went to the flip chart and I drew these horrible pencil drawings. That's on me being an artist, or lack of artist being an artist, on what lead generation is. Success is simple. Gary Keller in The One Thing said, what's the one thing that I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? And Alan, my answer to that would be talk to 20 people a day. It's the first domino. When you knock over that domino, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. Now, is it easy to have 20 conversations every day? Say no. Is it easy to keep making those calls, Jeffrey, when you're getting no, 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 no? And sometimes it's not that nice. Sometimes it's, heck no, go away and never call me again. Talk to you in a week. Who recognizes the name Bill Porter? Michael Topo. Ryan does. I've shown it, the story to you before. Ryan said, of course, he's one of my heroes. I love the Bill Porter story. So if you've heard it before, just hang on, you're going to hear it again. Bill Porter is my hero when it comes to lead generation. Bill Porter is my hero when it comes to what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier, not necessary. Where do you think I learned reject rejection? It was from Bill Porter. Where do you think I learned no does not live in my vocabulary? It was from Bill Porter. Matter of fact, bless you. One of the questions they asked him when 2020 was doing an interview on him was, what did you think when people were slamming the door in your face? He said, I didn't believe them. I knew they needed what I was selling. He didn't hear no. So Bill Porter was born with cerebral palsy in Portland, Oregon. Severe cerebral palsy. So much so that the state of Oregon told his parents that he was unemployable and that they should put him in a home. He would never be able to take care of himself. When Bill Porter was younger, his father passed away, so his mom raised him. And when it was time for him to go to work, she drove him from business to business to business to business as he was applying for jobs and was hearing no, 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 no. Rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection. Does this sound like a similar story that I've been sharing with you? Yeah? Yeah. Until one company finally, the Watkins company, said yes. Now, they didn't say yes on the first visit. He actually had to go back and see him a second time. And he said, give me the worst territory you've got. Now, what the Watkins company did is they sold household goods, and they had door-to-door salespeople. And he would walk door to door, 8 miles a day, up hills, down hills, hot weather, cold weather, didn't matter. He had to start at 5 o'clock in the morning getting ready in order to knock on the first door by 8 a.m. because it took him that long to get dressed because he only had use of one of his arms. And he actually had to make 2 stops on the way to his first door. He would stop at the hotel where the guys that were working in the front of the hotel would help him button his collars and fix his tie and tie his shoes, and then he would get his shoes polished so he could start the day. And then he started going door to door and knocking on doors, and people were slamming the door in his face. It was very hard to understand when he's talking because of his cerebral palsy, and he was getting rejected over and over and over and over again, until finally somebody said yes. And then somebody else said yes, until he became the #1 salesperson in the world for the Watkins Company. When Hollywood made a movie based on his life called Door to Door. 2020 did an interview that you can go to YouTube and just search Bill Porter, you'll find it. He rejected rejection. Bill Porter would have been an amazing real estate agent because he would have hit those 20 conversations every day because he would have known it's his job. He had a job to do. He was doing his job. When Monica and I were building the Deets team, and prior to me even getting in real estate, when I was a sales trainer and coach prior to real estate, I would just tell people all the time, just go be Bill Porter. You want to be successful? Be Bill Porter. That simple. Be Bill Porter. Nick, you want to be successful? Be Bill Porter. That easy. Bill Porter didn't think, wonder if it's a good lead. Wonder if they're serious. He just knocked on the next door. Why? Because it was the next door. Just make the next call. Why? Because it's the next call. Just keep following up forever. Why? Because that's your job. All right, talk to me. If you're on Zoom, raise your little digital hand, please. And I'll call on you. If you're in the room, what'd you hear? Diane.
Well, we just had this conversation a couple of months ago, and you just said, go for no.
Go for no. Yeah. How quickly can you get no? If you know how many no's you're going to get in a day, just get them out of the way. Suzanne, you got your hand up. Talk to me.
Don't be afraid of the no's. Don't give up when you hear no constantly.
Thank you. Yes is coming. I promise. It's coming. The only way it's not is if you stop. Boy, I wish I knew this when I was younger. I would have had a lot more fun. Michael Topo.
You're a bad boy, John.
I know it.
No, every no brings you closer to the yes. Every no brings you closer. It's the law of averages, right? Kim Kissick and her team, right? Just playing the law of averages, and you just keep playing till you put them, better in your favor.
Love it. Love that. One of my favorite quotes comes from Tom Hopkins in How to Master the Art of Listing and Selling Real Estate. And Tom Hopkins says, Lauren, I'm coming to you next. Tom Hopkins didn't say that, I did. Tom Hopkins says, we're not judged by the number of times we fail, but by the number of times we succeed. And the number of times we succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times we can fail and keep trying. By the way, you should have that written down, and you should have said that so many times that you've got it internalized, just like I do. We are not judged by the number of times we fail, but by the number of times we succeed. And the number of times we succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times we can fail and keep trying. Michael Topo, I agree. Anybody wants to put that in the chat, please, because I can't multitask. I can't talk and type at the same time. Lauren, talk to me.
Yeah, so when I'm lead generating in the morning, I know that the no's are coming, and I try and ask as many questions as I can just to get more information out of them. And one of my partners said this to me because a lot of people hang up on me, and he said, that's great. You want them to hang up on you because I keep asking the questions. And that sort of stuck with me, and sort of, I have to stop saying sort of as well, but it makes sense, and it goes hand in hand with expecting the no's.
I love that. Talk until they hang up. By the way, Lauren, if I were going to add one thing, I would say call them back at least one time. The script is simple. Hey, Lauren, it's John Dietz. I think we must have got disconnected.
Okay. Call right back.
Call right back.
Okay.
Assume you got disconnected. Don't assume they hung up on you. Assume you got disconnected and call them back.
Okay.
Hey, Lauren, it's John Dietz. I think we must have got disconnected. I apologize.
Okay.
Take the blame. It's your fault you got disconnected. By the way, you're probably going to voicemail because if they recognize your number, they're probably not answering it. That's okay. Call them right back and leave a voicemail.
Okay.
Because you're going to keep calling them. You're going to call again next week. Why not? Because you reject rejection. Just remember also that people will never change their mind. They will make a new decision based on new information. So your questions are hopefully guiding them to a path where you're helping them discover new information. Really quiet here.
You're just speaking facts, like, you know, we're also. That's right.
Good stuff,
No,
Michelle. Good stuff. It's great even when you're hearing stuff you're thinking, yep, that's obvious. Yep. No, and I don't mean it that way. I said the wrong word. I get it. I know what you're saying. You're good. You know I'm a big fan, Michelle. You're okay.
It's not even that, it's just like, we're all taking the information, you know, it's just like, it's so logical that people don't really think that.
Well, success is simple. And one of the things that worked for me for many years is I plug and play. I don't need it to be complicated. I believe in simple. And somebody says, here's the path. Like I would have been a really good scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz. Just follow the yellow brick road. You're going to end up in Oz. Okay, I believe it. I'm going to go. I'm following the yellow brick road because I know Oz exists. Okay. Weird way to look at it, right? Okay, time to get to work. What is work? Work is 20 conversations, not 19, not 18, not 17. Because when you have 17 conversations, you don't have the 18th conversation, which could have been $1 million listing. And the worst part is you don't know that you didn't get the listing because you didn't have the conversation. Make care calls, not sale calls. Always lead with gratitude. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate you. With every single conversation, focus on either getting an appointment, getting a referral, or adding somebody to your database. Find somebody today that's thinking of selling their home. Matter of fact, don't stop until you do. And then go meet with them because you're going to meet with 250 people over the next 12 months. And then you're going to follow up forever because you reject rejection. And because no is not a word that lives in your vocabulary, no simply means not yet. Remember that people will never change their mind, but what they will do is make a new decision based on new information. And when you follow up forever, you're creating emotional proximity. So when they make a new decision, they'll hire you. How's that, Christine? That was all on one breath.
We're talking about tomorrow.
All right, everybody, make it a great day.